The Giants need to walk away tomorrow night with their quarterback of the future. They need to make it happen. They need to be proactive. It's year 3 for this regime. You got to get your guy in the building, training wheels off, and then I'll deal with Daniel Jones in a moment. I've got something for you. Tomorrow night, the Giants have to get a quarterback in round 1.
And it very well could be the beginning of a new era and the end of the Daniel Jones era. I'm fine with that. I just don't want them to reach. And I'm starting to get the feeling here that the Giants are... Now, look, they know they need a quarterback, and they're going to be aggressive here, or it seems they're going to be aggressive in getting a quarterback as long as they get the guy that they want. Not one of the guys that they think could be a guy, the guy that they want. Meaning, if they do trade up for number 3, make sure it's for a specific player that you assume is going to be available. I know you never know, but if you trade up to 3, you have a good idea. Caleb Williams is going to be the only one that's for sure gone at number 1. You'd have to have an idea who's going to be gone at number 2 at this point.
That's going to be Jaden Daniels.
Okay, so then then you should know, if you're the Giants, if you're trading up for 3, what you're going to get. As long as Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are definitive in what they want, knowing that they could get him with that number 3 pick, assuming they trade up, then I'd be okay with it. But do not reach just to get a quarterback, whether that's McCarthy, whoever it may be, Drake May. Unless you absolutely love him, don't take it.
See, I don't disagree with that. But I'm also baking that into anything that the Giants do will do with their target in mind, and they will be able to get him. So now I'm with you on that. Just to move up the draft board and hope that something's there. That's ridiculous. I mean, if Joe Schoen would do that, Jen, the Giants have the wrong GM. He's too smart for that. The other thing too, and I think that this needs to be dispelled a little bit. I just don't think it's accurate anymore. We saw evidence with, obviously, Russell Wilson, much lesser extent in terms of being punitive with money and draft stuff. Zach Wilson. The thought that the Giants have to continue with Daniel Jones, I don't think it's accurate. I think that there's a way to incentivize teams. I don't know who that team would be. I don't know how the rest of the league really truly feels about Daniel Jones. But the New York Giants can invite somebody into the conversation and strike a deal where they eat X amount of the money, they drop a little draft equity, they obviously move on from Daniel Jones. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying to draft somebody and keep Daniel Jones around. No disrespect to Daniel Jones, but he's not the guy moving forward. He's just not. And I think Giant fans, most of you know that. So if you know that, why would you bring a kid into a quarterback room where it's going to be incredibly uncomfortable, not only for him, but for Daniel Jones? I'm talking about a clean break. Trade Daniel Jones, and if you don't trade him tomorrow night, trade him the next day. If it's not the next day, trade him next week. I would trade Daniel Jones.
And you want the rookie to start?
No, you have a backup. Okay. You made a move for the kid from a lock.
Right.
So you
want him to start?
Well, I mean, you have a battle and you see what happens.
Daniel Jones is the clear starter right now.
Well, he's not healthy right now, so he's not the clear starter.
Well, I mean, he's going to be by the time the football season.
I hope so.
I think. I mean, you're right. We don't know. But right now, on the depth chart, Daniel Jones is a starter. If they draft a rookie quarterback, obviously going to be a rookie. He's to me, he's still not the starter. I'm not throwing him to the Wolves either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Drew Lock takes the hits.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Daniel Jones. In that, what are you going to do? You really think they're going to be able to trade Daniel Jones?
I do. And I didn't think that for a long time. I think the business in the NFL is changing a lot. Now, again, Zach Wilson is a very small example because the money is not exorbitant. The draft, the draft stuff that you sent back is basically nothing. It's a late round pick.
Whatever it is, though, 50 picks or how many picks?
I think it was 56 or 57. But I guess that's still something there.
Yeah, well, I mean, for Zach Wilson, who had zero value, moved up 50 spots. I mean,
yeah. What I'm saying is, if the Giants are internally inclined to move on from Daniel Jones, and I believe that I can't prove that. I believe that they are. So there's 3 things that have to happen. Number 1, are you done with Daniel Jones? I think that they are. Number 2, have you identified the quarterback that you want? I believe that they have, and I believe it's Drake May, not McCarthy. And a subset of that, you need to have a willing trading partner to get him. I think the Pats would trade. And then the third thing, and I don't know if they would share this thought. This is what I would do, and this is what they might do or could do. You could keep Jones around, but I wouldn't. I would just start over. I'd start fresh. It's not punishment. It's just an acknowledgement and a realization that the Giants' clock on this new regime needs to start now. Get your guy. Stop wasting time.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, and I agree with that. I mean, I said that months ago. However, because of the contract situation with Daniel Jones, I don't know if that's realistic. And also, I don't want to throw the rookie quarterback to the wolves, and I also don't want to see Drew Lock starting this year. So because the Giants put themselves in a weird spot here, they could have kept Tyrod Taylor. I would have been better off having Tyrod Taylor be the starter and draft the rookie quarterback. If the Giants show you, though, that they do draft a quarterback here, that is clearly the end of Daniel Jones.
100%.
Because if you believe in Daniel Jones, to whatever extent it may be, you do not draft a
That's
quarterback.
why you get rid of him.
I know, but you can't.
I
right
think
now.
they can. I do. I don't think it's a deal where you say, "Wow."
But then why wouldn't they keep Tyrod Taylor? Drew Lock.
I don't think Tyrod Taylor was that good. Now I know he's on my team, but no. I'm not saying that Tyrod's. I think Tyrod. I don't want to get sidetracked with Tyrod Taylor. He's inconsequential to the conversation. Tyrod Taylor, I think that it was grossly overstated who he is, and he's a pro, and I respect him.
But I'm talking about.
Come on.
I'm talking about a veteran starter to where you can kind of ease the rookie in.
Yeah.
Drew Lock.
I think Drew Lock can approximate with Tyrod. Now Tyrod's maybe a little smarter. He's seen more processing talent. I think it's a wash. I think it's fairly, again, inconsequential to the Giants' future. Now that's the Giants stuff right there. Okay. The other thing that I think really needs to happen, and that's for the New York Jets, and it's an unconventional thought. It's a lot of people kind of cringe. Oh, and I think my partner's going to be one of them because he kind of given me the signals early. Anytime it comes up, it's early for a tight end. I don't know about that. What about the O-line? And I'm generally with that. Tomorrow night, unless there is a crazy trade to be made, and I do think the Jets, like the Giants, could trade back or could trade up, whether it's receiver, whether it's O-line. But what I really think that they should do, unless it's a knock your socks off trade, draft Bowers. I want that tight end in the Jets uniform.
Oh, God. It would be such a typical Jets pick.
But why?
No way.
Tell me why.
Because they need more. Bill,
what
get
do
an
they need? What do you
lineman.
think? Okay, so they need offensive linemen. What else do they truly need?
Oh, I'd rather have anything than a tight end, BT. I'm not taking a tight end with the 10th pick. See, the Jets' thinking is we're complete. Let's add a luxury piece with the 10th overall pick and hope that this guy's going to be transcendent and game-changing tight end. Bull crap. They could use another receiver, and they certainly could use offensive linemen. I would rather draft a lineman that is going to be here for 10 to 15 years, be a piece of this interior line while Aaron Rodgers is retired doing whatever it is that he's doing years later down the road. He could help Aaron Rodgers now and he'll help whoever the future quarterback is for this team. Not a tight end. I'm telling you firsthand, I would never do this. Then I saw the idiot team that I grew up rooting for do it with Kyle Pitts when everybody told me, just like they do with certain opinions, if it's not along lines with popular opinions, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Kyle Pitts is going to be the greatest thing ever. And I said, no, you're wrong. Oh, you don't watch college football. Yeah, but I can tell you this. I would never take a tight end that early. And guess what? Proven right again. You don't do it with the tight ends. This would be the worst thing the Jets could do. It's typical Jets getting caught up in the luxury, sexy pick. I understand what Brock Bowers could do if he is what everybody says he could be, and you add him to the offense. Sure, the Jets are not in that spot. They don't even have a second receiver.
The Jets they got Mike Williams.
Come on, BT. He's healthy.
It's Mike Williams. I don't know, but you got Garrett Wilson. You got Mike Williams. They listen. I think that the Jets have two massive needs tomorrow night. One is O-line. That's obvious. Even though they upgraded this offseason, the thought that you just continue to add offensive line bricks and, stabilize things for the future, I think that that's a sound thought. I really do. Of course, every time we watch the Jets, the pocket collapses immediately. Name the quarterback. You're running. You're flush for the pocket. You're running for your life. I understand.
And by the way, on that offensive line that you're right, they improved.
Yep.
Where are the young stud
Well, that's the truth. They're a little bit older. No, it's a lot of Band-Aids, with Smith at 33. But the kid they got from the Ravens is 26. Tippmann's a young player who I like, and I don't know if he could ever stay healthy, back-to-back big injuries, but Vera Tucker is a stud at multiple spots. So it's not as bad as people think. Now, I think that when you look at that need, and then the other need is playmakers. The Jets need guys that could just get in the end zone. What was the stat that you gave yesterday or last week?
Air yardage.
Air yardage on touchdown passes.
Right.
The Jets had double figure, like
39 or something.
Think about this, guys. Yeah. Last year, the amount of yards that the ball traveled, this is incomprehensible, but it's true. So you need to comprehend it because this actually happened. Less than 40 yards did the football literally go in the air before it was caught for a touchdown. Yep, and you guessed it was dead last in the NFL.
And for context, the Panthers, who were obviously awful.
With a rookie.
They had 97.
Yeah.
Where the Jets were, I think, 39 or 36 or whatever it was.
Correct.
In last. So the difference even from last.
It was stark.
Yeah.
And Sal, think about this. The Giants offense, which was abysmal, and
Right.
they were like 20. They were 23rd.
Right, something like that.
I mean, so think about the gap between the Giants and the Jets. So if you go O-line, I'm not going to go nuts. But Bowers is a play maker. And I hear you on the philosophy. There is a difference. Kyle Pitts going 4. Bowers going 10. There's a difference in money. There's a difference in, obviously, draft slot where you can do more stuff. If Bowers is there at 10 and the quarterbacks are off the board and the receivers, the top 2 are gone, that's the guy that I want. And I've said it I've been intrigued by this player for a while.
And I understand that. I get why you and other Jet fans would want him. It's a sexy pick. It's a fantasy football
But it
type
doesn't mean it can't be a successful pick. Like, to me, I hear sexy, it's almost like reckless, irresponsible.
No, but it's more sexy than drafting a lineman that nobody's familiar with and can't do it, with the fantasy numbers to get the explosive touchdowns. So I understand the appeal. I understand the enticement to draft that player. It doesn't mean it's the right move. To me, the right move would be taking an offensive lineman that assuming that they love somebody there, take an offensive lineman. Now, look, Joe Douglas' track record is what it is with the lineman, but still, I'd rather have a lineman that I can line up and be the interior piece for 10 to 15 years as opposed to taking a tight end, even if his ability seems to be off the charts at the moment.
Going to be a fun night tomorrow night. Jets and the Giants a chance to do some damage. 877-337-6666. BT and Sal. Brandon Tierney, Sal Licata on the Fan inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends at Town Fair. Remind you that you always get the guarantee lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
That was an awful
That was horrendous.
Right,
you know what happened? That was like a spike throw.
Did you get fouled?
I wish I did. No. I'm going to file the report like Sixers did, the last 2-minute report, whatever. I went to throw it, and it was too deep in my palm, so it didn't come off the fingertips, and it was like a spike job. It just hit the grass. Horrible.
BT's always crumbling up the reeds after he does it, and usually gets it around the bucket back there. This one spiked right in front of us.
It was like the fake spike with Marino. Sorry, Boomer. All right, listen, here we go. What I'm saying is this. Giants, get your quarterback tomorrow night, and Jets, if you take a tight end, don't listen to the critics, the cynicism, too early to take a tight end. Do it. The kid's different. John, first up, Brookfield, Connecticut, BT and Sal. What's going on, John?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hello, John.
BT, to your point about the Giants, I'm with you. If they love May and they want to get up and get him, I'm all for that. My point to you, I guess, would be I would prefer to let Jones play. If you're not going to start May right away, which I'm kind of for.
Probably not. Yep,
let Jones play. Let Jones play the year. If he can have a decent year, and now that money, what you're going to have to pay anyway, is off the books. And now, if he plays well, you could trade him for more than what you're going to be trading him for now.
It's possible.
So
Not a bad thought, John. The other thing that could happen, and I certainly don't wish this because I really do respect Daniel Jones' competitive nature, and he's had some good moments here. He could also have setbacks with the knee, or it can come back and get hurt again, which further decimates his value. It could go one of two ways. I'm not playing that game. I'm getting my guy in the building. I'm changing the dynamics of the quarterback room. I'm letting Dable get his hands on a young, impressionable, talented, moldable quarterback, and I'm starting the Giants' future.
And I actually cannot wait for that. We've talked about Daniel Jones here for years. It's at least 2 or 3 years beyond what it should have been. This, to me, should have been the move when Shane and Dable first took over. Clean house, open up the windows, get in your guys, start the process. Now, they didn't. They wanted to further evaluate Daniel Jones. He had success. They made a mistake in buying into him and believing in it, giving him the contract that they did, even knowing better, because they wouldn't. If they really believed in him, they wouldn't have given him the 2-year, opt-out or whatever it may be for them. They wouldn't have given themselves a chance to get out. Right. So even though they made a bad contract, they knew they wanted to have it out. And now they know definitively they need another guy. I look forward to the Giants drafting a quarterback tomorrow. I just don't want it to be a reach. I don't want it to be forced. I want it to be the right pick and the right move, and that make sure that they're all – and I do trust Joe Shane and Brian Dable that they'll do the right thing. I'm fascinated to see who the guy may be, though, BT, because if you trade up to number 3, trading up to 4 or staying at 6, it's going to be McCarthy.
Yes.
Trading up to 3, there's a chance where it's not McCarthy, but – it also could be. Do they love McCarthy that much? And that's been the reports out there that they do love him. do they love him that much to trade up to number 3 to get him, and then maybe Drake May falls?
I mean, these are all. Listen, you don't really know what's real. You don't know
just
it's
saying,
a smoke screen. Yeah.
Then that'll become the other conversation. Oh my God, they traded up for 3. Drake May is there, but they took JJ McCarthy, and then fans are,
Well, then the fans will listen. We all react. I mean, think about all the videos of the Jet fans going bonkers when a certain name is called, and he says Steph. Same with some of the Giant fans, but the Jet fans obviously.
But they can't.
Draft night's been a joke.
Can't miss on this one.
No, you can't. And if you do, then, the Shane and Dable regime will not nearly be as long, or will not be nearly as long as people think. Justin's in Cedar Grove. Justin, BT and Sal, what's happening?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
What's up, Justin?
What up, man?
Good. In terms of the tight end, Sal, I get your point about the lineman, Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw,
yes,
and 10-year staple. However, the problem is Rodgers has, 2 or 3 years tops, and I get it, but in terms of adding a weapon for them to score points now, to win now, is why I'd side with Brandon in terms – and listen, I'd rather have the wide receiver from Washington, but he's not going to be there.
But that's a mistake. See, that's what I'm saying. And, Justin, I understand what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. A part of me is enticed by it as well. I want to be disciplined here. And what he just said, BT, doing it for Rodgers because of Rodgers' window. So let's just say Rodgers gets hurt again. Let's just say this year doesn't go according to plan like last year. Maybe not the same disastrous season, but it doesn't go according to plan. The Jets don't have the ultimate success. Rodgers moves on. Now you're stuck with the tight end when you could, and that you picked specifically because you have the quarterback instead of building inside out and having a foundational piece for years to come that could play and help Rodgers and could also play and help the next guy.
Okay, but we fundamentally disagree on one very important thing, because I've already baked this into my thought with Bowers. Now, you look at the Jets, and outside of quarterback, which is the most important position and the most elusive for the Jets, as we know, in terms of draft and development, the other position that the Jets have never been able to cement is tight end. And you think about the way the NFL's evolved. Back in the day, Mickey Schuler, guys like Bavaro for the G-men, tough, really good, vertical options, and Bavaro, a great blocker as well. But, the Jets need to join the modern NFL. And the modern NFL, it's a necessity to be able to deploy a matchup nightmare either against a small corner down the field or a slower linebacker. The Jets need that to modernize and update the playbook. So I do agree. Yeah, of course, if you draft Bowers, it helps today. But whenever Rodgers moves on, whomever is the quarterback of the Jets moving forward, at that point, probably a young kid, the tight end helps him as well.
Right.
It helps both levels, not just today. If it was a short-sighted move, I know what you mean. There are people
telling you,
do
BT,
this for Rodgers. You have a 1-year window. There might be a 1-year window, but Bowers has a 10-year window.
Real quick, I'm telling you, I saw it with Kyle Pitts, and as I read Peter Schrager's mock draft, Bowers and his ability after the catch sets him apart from just about every tight end prospect since
Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. Excellent player, winner, a weapon for Aaron Rodgers to exploit. Schrager says it makes sense. I understand on paper why it does make sense. I saw it with Kyle Pitts. They needed other stuff. They were far from it. You could argue the Jets are a lot closer. It is a different situation, and 4 versus 10.
And they're different players. It doesn't mean he's going to have the same fate.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'd rather take the lineman in that spot.